Hi, Daniel from 1% Property here with episode 2 of my local business profile video. So this week we're talking with Sheridan from Better Brain Health. Now, Sheridan is a clinical naturopath and nutritionist that's based out of Newmarket, and she focuses really on brain health, and obviously that's such an important thing. I'm not going to go into too much. I'll let Sheridan explain. But Sheridan, if I can get started with, how long have you been living in the inner north community, and how long have you been running your business here?
I bought into the area actually 19 years ago, but I have lived in Sydney and the UK, and I only moved back to Newmarket about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I consider myself a long-time resident, but officially I've just been paying bills here. But I had a child, and he was the main reason I moved back to Brisbane, and really wanted to come back to this area because it's so close to the city and stuff.
Yeah, I find a lot of people do that. They'll go traveling the world, and then really I don't think there's anywhere better to raise a kid than Brisbane. So people just come back. My wife and I were living in Dubai, and similar thing. When family, we started thinking about family, we decided, yeah, definitely have to come back to Brisbane for that. And how long have you been running Better Brain Health out of Newmarket?
So I graduated 10, 11 years ago now as a nutritionist, but I didn't start a business until 6 years ago. And that was really because I found that the funding for a lot of brain research and nutrient interventions and power of herbs or anything, there was no money in it. So I by default started a business. I wasn't actually planning on being a business owner.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And look, obviously this is probably quite an expansive question, but can you explain a little bit as to what you do, what your business does, and what sort of things you can offer to, the residents of our community?
Mm-hmm. So I specialize in gut-brain issues. We know a lot about the microbiome, so that's the bacteria living in our gut, because of the testing that's evolved. So I'm very analytical in the way I look at someone's health case. It's not just a matter of looking at their diet. It's looking at the deficiencies in nutrients, looking at the family history, the genetics, and it's a deep conversation that I have. First appointment's an hour, and I'm looking at data as well as their symptoms, so sleep, stress management, and the conditions people come to see me with are usually around performance. So it could be work-related performance is dropping. It could be family relationships are suffering because there's a lot of anxiety. It could be just an overwhelm that they've never experienced before. And given the last 3 months, how people's lives have changed, it's certainly, I haven't dropped in business at all.
Yeah.
People's financial situations are really struggling, but as far as them needing help with the crises that they're facing, it's something I've been really fortunate to be able to keep them supported.
Yeah, of course. And do you treat, obviously I know some naturopaths will focus on women or men or kids. Do you treat everyone the same, or do you have a specific focus?
I meet someone where they're at, so it depends on, I'm not gender focused, probably more, I see more women, but over the last year I've actually been seeing quite a lot of males who are really, again, entrepreneurial, or they're quite fit and active, and they just want to perform better in their work. And I work at another clinic at Chermside as well. So that's where I'm seeing different types of clientele. Yeah, the way I assist them though is looking at the foundations of their lifestyle and diet related power. I'm really focused on education and helping them feel like they have control over the symptoms their body's telling them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are thinking they give their power away to someone when they go to a health professional usually. And having visited my grandmother in hospital for the last week, it's something where I see, yeah, very much just people waiting to be, repaired almost. But there's a lot of signs that come up before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Going back to, I guess, the area in our community, what's your favorite thing about living in the inner north community?
I find a lot of people around this area, being in a city, are high achievers. They're quite active in their lifestyles. They're self-motivated mostly, and even if they get stuck for short amounts of time, I find that the types of people where all they need is a little bit of information, a little bit of strategy, maybe some simple swaps into adding things into their daily routines or foods, even supplements. And I mean, I use things for short-term quick fixes with herbs as well, and herbal liquids.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the kind of people around this area are, yeah, then they're very active, and that's what I like. I guess they're also the types of people that enjoy the sun, and we have such a nice climate here that, and even with the restrictions that we've had, people are still finding ways to find relief outside and in nature. So yeah, I think we're really lucky in that respect, and it's quite an educated area. I haven't looked at the data and statistics on it, but this is just an observation that, yeah, people are really focused on an optimized kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's one of those things, I guess, you don't find many places where you can get so much greenery and so many parks and such a nice atmosphere while being so close to the city. So it does really have that sort of active, I guess, entrepreneurial feel, which is fantastic. Okay, and this one I'm sure you could talk about for a long time, but what is one great piece of advice around your field that you can give to the local community and to the people watching this video?
So I would start from wisdom from thousands of years of where they taught people to, like, buy local, buy seasonal, and uh, feeling more that they actually have choices around their health. And it's not necessarily based on marketing, but based on ancient wisdom of real food. If their grandparents recognized the food, it didn't need labels of gluten-free or organic on it. And it's not a calories in and out model. So that is really old science. So anyone that still thinks it's just about filling you up, it's actually, food to me and nutrients are information for the cells and information for our gut bacteria. And so if we can optimize the information that we put into our bodies, we're going to have behaviors and energy levels and quality of life that is really enhanced. So I use the analogies around the garden, putting, you want to bring home some plants, you're not going to put them into a garden full of weeds. You're going to nurture the soil first, and then put fertilizer and things like that. So that's what I look at. The gut has a lot of power in the brain activity, and it's also the first point of developing strong immunity. So coming into winter, think about the foods that you're putting in, and also the nutrients that are going to support your immune system the most. So,
okay, yeah. Fantastic. I could continue to talk to you about this for a long time because I find it all very interesting, but we should probably end it there. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me. Guys, if you would like to get in touch with Sheridan, her details are in the business directory on the Brisbane Inner North Community Hub. And obviously, a wealth of information, a lot of really useful stuff, especially if you are feeling down or you're feeling some of the effects at the moment. So that's it for this episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we really look forward to talking to you soon.